Blade Talk with Scab and Joe.
The American experiment requires us all to push the boundaries.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. Sit back, relax. We got a pretty good show here.
Please don't forget our U.S. veterans. Growing awareness for veteran suicide. Hashtag 22 a day no more. Veterans, you always have a place here. There is a number in the description of all of my videos for some good folk that can help you if you are in despair. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. My name is Joe Steele from the Steel Mindset. Welcome into the room. And see, the chat room is kind of growing a little bit more and more. I appreciate you guys all being here. Today is a treat. I think it's definitely a treat today, given the fact that we have some Cold Steel royalty in the room. But before we get into that and the special guests that we got coming into the show today, as you know, with our respective channels and with Blade Talk with Scab and Joe, and as you've seen in the introduction, we support and grow awareness for our veterans. Much respect to our veterans. You're welcome on our channels, on all our platforms, and growing awareness for hashtag 22 a day no more. So without further ado, we are going to have, obviously, Scab is coming into the room. And we have Luke coming in, and Luke, who is actually just recently is the new CEO of Cold Steel. Yes, Luke now owns Cold Steel, formerly of Calculated Survival. He is now the new CEO of Cold Steel. So it actually changed hands one more time. So we got some royalty in the room, like I said. So let's get the ball moving, and welcome to Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. And by the way, a happy April 1st, everybody. Welcome, Luke.
Actually caught me off guard a little bit there. I was like, I knew he said he was going to do that. What's up, guys?
What's going on, man? Welcome
Luke is the new representative of Cold Steel. Just put that, into perspective. And it is April 1st. So welcome, everybody. Go ahead, Scab. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Welcome in, Luke. We're glad to have you, man. Listen, we could probably do 3 or 4 shows with you. So we'll do that. But what I'm saying is we got so much to cover. Here's what I would like for you to do, if you would.
Okay.
Quick introduction of yourself, a little bit of background, but I know a lot of people want to hear about Cold Steel. So quick introduction, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us how you got involved with Cold Steel.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm born and raised in New England, and my father owned a plumbing and HVAC company. His father before him owned a plumbing and HVAC company. The reason I'm telling you this is because I did plumbing and HVAC for 15 years. I was just a tradesman. And eventually, after 15 years of that, I got bored and I just wanted to follow my passion, which was the outdoors. I love the outdoors. I love knives. I love self-defense, all that stuff. And, one day my father-in-law looks at me and goes, you don't look that happy with plumbing and HVAC anymore. So if there's any idea you come up with that you want to pursue, I'll invest. And he's my current partner in Calculated Survival. I just went to bed, thought about it, woke up the next morning, was like, I want to start a survival store. I want to start a survival channel, all that. It wasn't really as much a channel because we were just thinking, let's market a little bit. And then out of nowhere, it just blew into this thing that I reviewed a couple things here and there, and then one day I did the the Harbor Freight survival knife, bargain or BS, and it got 5 million views on TikTok, and then I was like, oh, shorts is where it's at. So I started doing more shorts, and people were just asking me for reviews on knives. So I just kept doing that, and I used to make knives when I was a kid, but I didn't know anything about heat treatment or steel. So I would go to Home Depot. And I'd buy the cheap mild steel and I'd cut it up and I'd file it all by hand. Oh man, I'm such an idiot. I should have brought down my first knives I ever made. And I started making these knives and I just started loving it. So then I started getting into Calculated Survival, started making knives there, started designing knives. And then eventually the thing about Calculated Survival was, I kind of started doing the knife thing because Cold Steel had always had a special place in my heart. I seen the videos of where they tested the snot out of these knives. And I was like, I think that's brilliant. I love it. The demonstrations are what sold me. So then I built this machine. I don't have it here. It's actually in Wisconsin with Keith. Other people know him as Stick. And so it's a machine that basically has a scale and puts pressure on the lock until it breaks or whatever. And this one can take like 1,800 pounds, by the way. The Mayhem by Cold Steel. And so I made one of those. I did a video on it, and then Cold Steel saw it and asked me to make them one. So then I just started talking to Cold Steel more and more. And then as time went on, like I'd see them at the shows and we talk and stuff. And then eventually, here's where I don't know what I can say, but I'm going to say that I think that, well, Keith got hurt and he didn't know basically if he was going to be able to keep doing it, like swinging swords and throwing and stuff like that. So he was like, based on this injury, I'm kind of unsure. And so they reached out to me. It was like, hey, can you start, doing videos for us? And, at this point I like Keith, right? So I go out to Wisconsin and, I started doing videos with him. I freaking love the guy. From his videos, he's a borderline annoying salesman. In real life, that guy's a brother. I love the absolute crap out of him. I mean, what a genuine dude. You do not get you get Keith, but you don't really know Keith through his videos. I mean, he's a great guy. So now he wants to stay on because we work well together now.
Yeah, no,
So
that's good that he's staying on with you.
Yeah, I think it's important too, because too many people have already basically seen his face, and he's like, such an integrated part of Cold Steel now. But I think it was kind of a shock to the cutlery world when he became the face of Cold Steel, because he was from the archery world. He has a lot of patents in the archery world. And so basically when he came on, he had a few videos with Lynn, and then that was it. He had to take over, and that was kind of how it went. And you're like, who is this guy? And nobody really knew from the cutlery world. So I'm like, hey, it's a good idea if we keep him on, because he is Cold Steel. He's been Cold Steel for so long, and everyone's like seeing my videos. They're like, where's Stick? I'm like, well, I guess you're sticking around here, buddy. But like, he's just an awesome and genuine dude. I don't want to see him go anywhere. I don't. I want to do this stuff with him, and I want to help make Cold Steel a better company. I think Cold Steel's best days are ahead of it. And part of the reason they brought me on too was because they wanted, well, I said I wasn't going to come on unless I had a hand in quality assurance. There's certain things that were very important to me. And those are basically in my contract. I love Cold Steel for its strength. I love them for the folding knife locks. It's essentially what makes the strength of a fixed blade as carryable as a folding knife. And that is such a great combination right there. And that's what won me over as a kid. And that's never died, and it's not going to die.
Well, two things real quick. First thing is this: Cold Steel is fun. It's always been fun. It will always be fun. It should be. Yeah. We had Lynn Thompson on not long ago. That's kind of like one of my icons in this thing, man. And he was a blast. The second thing is this: most people that don't like Cold Steel folders have never carried them, because you can carry this, which is the Espada XL. I carried it the other day to work, not meaning to. I got up, I did a short with it, and it pisses people off so bad on YouTube. So I do it for that as well. But dude, it was literally lunchtime before I realized I had it in my pocket. So you could have this or the Storm Cloud, right? You could have either one, and they carry the same. I don't know of another company that does pocket knife carry like they do. Talk to us a little bit, just briefly, about some of your favorite Cold Steels, and then jump into what you would like to have a hand in with the quality side, because I'm interested to hear your take on that.
Okay, so one of the absolute, shall we say, unique things about Cold Steel is, of course, its folders, and that's because of the locks that are so strong. My personal favorites are going to be, well, I got the new one here in Magna Cut, and I kind of had a feeling you'd ask me that question. This is actually, I like the spear point better, and I do like serrations. Okay. A lot of people don't like serrations, but I don't have a problem sharpening them, and I think that's pretty much what most people's issue with them is. If you don't know how to sharpen it, you just don't like it. you don't know how to, maintain your blade, and that's understandable. But the Cold Steel Recon 1 has been in my back pocket for about 10 years. Love the thing. But now I got to start carrying other knives. So the 5 Max, I absolutely love this, and I love the extra large too. I bought the extra large. The 5 Max, oh my gosh, dude, I have beaten the absolute tar out of this thing. I've chopped down trees. My man, I love it. This thing is awesome. So for its strength, actually, I think we put this one up to 1,400 pounds on its lock because it's so much thicker. Like
I think it's this video right here. If I'm going to show, I think it says Cold Steel Triad Lock. I'm not sure if it's out, but I want to show this. Actually, this is an interesting piece machine you got here. I wanted to actually show this. Hold on.
Now, did you make this, Luke?
8010 light about a month ago.
The machine
and
in the
you guys
back?
been asking to see a triad lock in my new jig. Okay. So,
and I made one for Cold Steel too.
Torture test.
The one with the whole screen and everything. Sorry about the music.
Well, I bottomed out my turnbuckle. I can't seem to get any more adjustment on this thing. Yeah, 550 pounds. It went up to a little past that, but a bunch of you are probably going to say this is fake. There's no wiggle on this. The downside is that it appears as though we have a closing issue now, but if you just push it a little harder, it closes. If you look, these got warped pretty bad. I'm going to actually take this apart and see if I can bend these back. So I bent the liners straight again.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is tight. That's pretty cool, man. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, see, so something like that, I wouldn't call customer service. I just fix it. I mean, hold on one second.
Yeah, well,
so like this, I bought this. Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of hate from Cold Steel corporate overlords for this one, but when this was actually a Lynn Thompson Warhammer, and it came with the plates on the side. Hated them, so I welded on a 1.5 inch fence post, and then I wire wrapped the handle. This thing it's so much stronger, so much better, and you just
bro, this is my all-time favorite. I've got 150 pieces of Cold Steel. This is hands down my favorite.
I think I have you.
And to know that Lynn killed 2 donkeys with it is just amazing as well.
Wait,
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard that story? Oh yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he shared that with us here on the channel. That was Peter-rific. Yeah, he bought 2 donkeys and killed them with the Warhammer, but they were old, so it was okay. This is my favorite, bro. I mean, hands down. And you get all the dumbasses talking about, oh, that'll shatter. I've hit everything under the sun twice with this thing. And now I hate what they call them, planjets or whatever. I hate them. I got rid of them too.
I got to make you one of these. So I see someone. Victor said fence post is the handle, but what I did was I cut up 1.5 inch fence post and I TIG welded on the front. This is back when I just bought my TIG welder, so that's ugly as all. That's the ugly as original sin right there. And so I bent it to fit that perfectly. And then I use regular, because I was a tradesman, I just use regular tie wire on that, and it's got a great grip. But the fence post is not the handle; it merely protects the handle. Yeah. And then somebody else said bring back the Desperado.
Desperado.
I see you. I'll talk to people. I will. I'll write that down. But you were asking me about my favorite blades, and let's go from there. I didn't like Mayhem at first. I started using it, and now I love it. I do. It is so tough. It is so strong. I personally want to do this again. I want to design this again, except for maybe a thicker blade, and I want this to be straight across. I want it to be more of a bushcraft blade. I want this to not look so much like a cutlass, but it'll be an additional knife. I want to make it more of a bushcraft survival knife because, I mean, how strong this lock is. I have cut trees down with this. Yeah. I beat the tar out of it, and I love it. Yeah. And it's razor sharp. I just made my daughter a wooden sword with it.
Right.
Speaking
Luke,
of her.
Let me ask you a question, actually, just to clarify, because maybe some people in the room don't really understand what your role is. Like, what is your role as a rep? Like, what are your responsibilities? What are you able to do? Just so you could explain to people, like, where your role in Cold Steel and what you represent, with them.
So I'm essentially the face of the company. That's what they've said. At least that's what I was hired to do. We still have Stick here. I don't want Stick to leave. So I think that we should be the face of the company together. We'll see how that plays out. That's the future still, we thought we had a plan. And just because he and I work so well together, we might be changing the plan slightly. I don't want Stick to leave. So basically I was hired on to be the face of the company.
Okay.
Essentially is how that went down. And it was due to the fact that Stick had suffered an injury. And he didn't know how much longer he could have kept going. So they were kind of like reaching out, trying to find someone. And then they called me in December. And when I was actually at Demolition Ranch's range day, I was shooting machine guns out there. That was a lot of fun. But I was out there and I was just in the middle of shooting machine guns. I got a phone call from Jamin. And he's like, you know, I need a little help here. And then it just went from there. So also my next favorite blade is the newest FM1, and it's because it's so carryable. It is so carryable. It's an Atlas lock, little tiny thing, super thin. It's like a 3.5-inch blade, S35V in titanium. I love it so much. I gave the satin version to my daughter.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I can't get enough of this. I cannot get enough of this. I would recommend this knife to literally anybody, because people with tight pants or jeans or anything like that. I mean, it is a great looking knife. It's well built. It's got that Atlas lock. It's fidgety. It's thin. I absolutely love this thing.
Nice.
I
want to see if I can. Do you have one yet?
No.
I want to see if I can.
I'll tell you what I did. I had the code 4 because of the size. I absolutely adore. I've had 5 of them. I've given 5 away. And so for my small cold steel, I literally carry this Storm Cloud.
Yeah.
I love this knife, but it's discontinued. So I was going to pick up another code 4, but I might get that one because I like that one a lot.
Yeah. Let me reach out to my my people and see if I can get you one.
That's a perfect little carry. I like that.
I like that.
It
is
amazing.
That a lot.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I do love it. It comes in stonewash and satin. This is the stonewash version. I apologize for not having the satin one. That's in my daughter's pocket. So
well, it's like having a tough.
Well, you did a short. You did a short today with everything you got in, and to do videos and to do. How do you organize that? And I realize this is what you do, but what like people in the chat that don't have channels, they look at it and go, man, you guys got it made. And we do. But there's a lot of work. So how do you organize like all that stuff you got? Do you go into that a little bit? What's your plan of attack to be the face of Cold Steel? That's the question.
Well, a lot of it has to do with products we want off the shelves. Products that we want to, we have a lot of that aren't selling as quickly. Sometimes things just need a spotlight. Sometimes I'm just like, dude, I love this knife. And I make a video about it because I just can't get enough of it. And I just want to talk about it. So I made one on, I think it was Saturday. In fact, my daughter was the one that filmed it. So I was like, I love this knife specifically. It's great. So that's, sometimes it's just random. Other times it's like ideas, comments come up. And a lot of times though, see, because I have people that are like, hey, we need to sell this product. So it's like, okay, we'll focus on doing a video in the next couple of days. And then I add that to my list. And then same thing will happen. They'll be like, look, we have a list of 50 that would be really good to get out the door or at least speed up the sales on. So it's like, okay. And I go through the list, boom, 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 boom. And, you know, the ones that really hit me and I'm like, oh, I know what I could say with this one. Like the Engage, the 3-inch Engage is just about as thin as this one. It's just about as thin as this one, you know? And I gave this one to my, gave this one to my father-in-law to hold, as well as the super thin 3-inch Engage. And he was like, I like the Engage more. And I love this one, but I guess that one just worked better for him. And that's the thing, is every knife, you know, you can't just have the perfect knife. There's no such thing as the perfect knife because everybody's different.
There is
same thing with a gun.
There is no perfect knife.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Your father-in-law is your partner with Calculated Survival. Is that right?
Yeah, my father-in-law, yes. He does he tries to do a lot more land nav. He was an ex-Green Beret. And so he'll take over some of the land nav stuff. Now he's got to take over the channel almost entirely. I'm going to try to get in there with some of the survival stuff. But I cannot review knives.
We'll support him. We'll push him.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We'll
absolutely.
do that.
Because that's a great channel.
I'll
and
tell you why I
that's gotta
say
keep
that.
going, keep going.
I watched one of his. I'm thinking it was him. He's kind of older dude, kind of jacked. He did one on the solar steel, right? Didn't he do one on the? Is that him?
Yeah, he did that when he was in the Bahamas. Yeah, that's the solar still. He did that one.
Great video. I don't know if Joe's seen it. I think I've seen it on TikTok. But the reason I bring that up for all you guys, let's make sure we support calculated survival. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, especially when the guy helped you get into it. I think we should show love there. But back to the cold steel stuff. And I'm just fascinated with this, and I'll let you talk. But my mind's just racing. Like if I called or whoever called you and said, "Luke, listen, man, Code 4, we need to get it off the shelf." Do you feel any pressure there, or is it just kind of a natural flow since you've been doing it?
I don't get a lot of
pressure.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but it's like, the videos for me aren't really too much of a big deal. I mean, like sometimes there's not a lot of pressure. No, I mean, I can usually make something about it. If it's a product I don't like, that's where the pressure comes in.
Yeah.
Because I gotta, if I don't like it, it's hard to make a video about it. There's not too much I don't like. I'll be honest. There's really not too much I don't like. There's a few things, but there's not a lot. So, and they haven't asked me to do videos on the stuff I don't like. So.
Yeah. Well, you're like me. I'll say this. Like Joe has a certain style where everything's very. I don't think anybody beats Joe's video from a cinema standpoint, right? I like the off the cuff stuff. Of course, mine looks like I'm filming it from a bathroom or something. But when you like all the stuff that you were showing, all the stuff, I was sitting there looking at it, just kind of smiling. Do you have to organize your day? Because I know with me, I would want to run out and do as much as I could. And Joe's been here with me on a weekend. He knows like the work when it comes to YouTube. Do you have to dial it back some, or are you still in that full steam ahead mode?
No, I'm probably one of the more disorganized people out there, and I literally just wing it.
There you go.
I'm like, oh snap! I got to put out this fire right now, and I got my fiance's grandmother. I'm redoing her basement, and every once in a while, the guy doing the construction, he asks me, "Hey, can you get over here and pipe in the shower real quick?" All right, and then sticks over there like, "Hey, what are we posting today?" I'm like, "I'll be back in a few minutes," and I don't have service over there. It's so and then he'll back me up and he'll make a video or something like that.
But you got boxes and boxes, drawers and drawers of cold steel there. So
yeah.
Is it a matter of like, can you make up your own agenda and say, listen, I really like this one here, I'm going to highlight this one? Or do they give you an agenda of knives to say, listen, we have to get these out the door. We need to basically, like, how do you organize what you're going to be doing on a weekly basis?
There's probably,
because it is a lot of knives you got there. So it's actually overwhelming looking at it. Listen, coming from a content creator that has, and Scab can see it, and Scab can look at a box of knives and be like, how am I going to attack this right now? I mean, I got like 15 knives in this box, 10 knives in that box. Like, what is your method of attack? Or is that a preset for you with an agenda that Cold Steel gives you of things that you have to do?
I probably have to do one video a week of mandatory, like, oh, we have to figure this out. But mandatory, I got to get 3 videos out. I'm trying to do 7 or 6. I'm trying to at least take one day off. I'm trying to put more out there. Like, you don't show up and do the bare minimum. You show up and you try to overdo it, man.
Right.
And you push as hard as you can.
Content is key.
Yeah, and honestly, what's happening is because we're posting more frequently, the YouTube algorithm is pushing the channel in general more than what it was before. So we're seeing better analytics, and it could be for a lot of reasons, but regardless, we're getting better analytics because we're working harder. And we don't have to be working as hard as we are. Some of the people have said, you don't have to post so much. And I'm like, I want Cold Steel to be, I want it to be the best. I want it to double in its size. I want it to do great things. And that's why I joined. And it's funny because like in calculated survival, I walk into Blade Show, everyone shakes my hand, says, thank you so much for everything you do, because I go through, knives in a very honest way. And now I knew this was going to happen. You jump into Cold Steel and you're not that guy anymore. You are now a salesman, and people don't like salesmen. But I'm not just a salesman because they're asking my opinion on heat treatment. I'm actively in conversations about the heat treatments of certain products. If we have an issue with something, they send me the charts and the sheets, and I look them over and I say, you need to make this correction, this correction, this correction, and then they take it back to the factory. So that's something I get to do, and people don't get to see. That's behind the scenes. That's actually making Cold Steel a better company, and that's part of my job. It's part of my contract, quality assurance.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that's part of it, because I want Cold Steel to be a better company than it was even under Lynn. Now, whether that's possible or not, I want to see what we can do. I'm going to work for it.
Scab's going to jump on this as well, but let's move into customer relations, customer service. But also, before we get into that, how much do you think moving forward, being the face of the company, you and Keith and all that, a lot of people have critique, not even critique, even recommendations. Like you said, like maybe if somebody will look at a knife or they review it or they comment on it and say, oh, well, maybe this should have been done this way, this should have been done that way. How much are you going to read into like maybe some comments you get, critique for like maybe some recommendations for knives and things like that? And then also go into also the customer service, conundrum that people are in with Cold Steel.
So we're actually actively, and that was one of the things I actually made sure I asked them about prior to signing my contract. I was like, there's 3 things I want to talk about. I want to talk about these machetes. I want to talk about the sheaths, and I want to talk about customer service, because I think those are the 3 biggest complaints we're getting right now. And I'd like to see those eliminated, because that's going to make Cold Steel a way better company, just focusing on those 3 things. Customer service, we have an inside, me and Keith are working on a plan for that, and I think you're all going to love it. I can't say too much more than that because I spoke to him just before I called here, and he's like, don't say too much. So I'm not gonna assign too much information to this, but basically we are actually working actively on a solution for customer service, and you guys are going to be, I think you guys are going to be really pleased with it, because that seems to be like, if you have an issue with a knife, it needs to be dealt with. So we want to stand behind our product, and that's the other thing too. If you don't stand behind your product, but we just don't have something in place, which we are actively working on right now. So I think you guys are going to be very happy with that. The other part of the question you asked me was,
like, are you going to monitor it? Are you going to basically be aware of what people are asking, making comments? Becoming as a YouTube creator and people commenting on your videos and stuff like that. Are you going to be active in looking at what people comment on the videos for recommendations and all that? Like, can you put that into account? Let's just say. Yeah.
So here's
you
the
can only
thing.
do so much of that, though.
Right. I do have access to all the comments and all the posting and all that stuff. That's part of it. We post it. And we both can comment. We both can look. So I do comment through Cold Steel sometimes, their channel. And I see the 5 Max Scout come up a lot. That's in almost every video. And the thing about that is,
Scout,
products take about a 18-month turnaround. So from going, hey, let's start this project. Boom, you go to the factory. This is our specs. They go, okay, and then they go from. Sorry, I got caught up in the comments. The guy was asking about a serrated Coben. Anyway, I'll answer you in a second, brother. But the shoot, where was I?
Comments.
Yeah, no,
comment of Cold Steel for
so the 18 months turnaround.
Yeah.
The 18-month turnaround is something to really take into account, and that's not even counting in the design phase for some things. I think that the Cold Steel 5 Max Scout wouldn't be as hard because the same exact 3D elements are there. You just got to add in a couple things. Manufacturers work with you. We might be able to do something like that, maybe for 2026. But it's an 18-month turnaround. So I have a couple designs of my own that I want to put through that I think are going to be more towards the earlier Cold Steel fan base essentially. Some stuff that I've designed that's just robust and it's built for, built for hard use, because that's my thing. I just want people to be able to depend on their knives. They go in the woods. I
Yeah.
don't want it, because I've been in the woods and I've broken a blade, and it's like, well, what do I do now? That was my blade. That was the one I brought, and I don't want anyone's blades breaking on them. That's why I'd rather a bend than a break. But as far as the future designs and stuff, I am actually trying to work on a few designs of my own right now. I was working on a design prior to joining Cold Steel, actually.
Mhm.
But how much of a hand I'll have in that? Not as much as, I'm not going to be running the thing, but I am going to try to make a few recommendations,
That's mad cool. I mean, to be involved with a company you love like that and be able to make recommendations, that is kind of cool. To be able to say, maybe we should design this, that, and one other thing. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's fun. It's living the dream, man. I was asked the opportunity. I was given the opportunity, and I took it. So.
Yeah, nobody can begrudge you that. And the thing is this too, you don't need to be a damn punching bag. You know what I'm saying? Because you've done this long enough to know that you could make a knife out of unobtainium and a gold handle, and somebody's going to bitch. That's just life. I will say this on the 5 Max Scout. This is the 4 Max Scout. I think this is probably the best cold steel knife for the money that you guys have come up with. I think it's one of the most handy knives. It's one that I recommend a ton, just because of the price point and what you get for that price point. So I'd be curious. Most people don't understand, if they hadn't seen it, the difference between the 5 Max, and I got my 4 Max in there. I brought the Scout.
You wouldn't know unless you put them side to side.
You wouldn't know, but that's a huge. That 5 Max is massive, dude.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
love the
a
5 Max. Yeah.
Oh, I do too. It's one I carry quite a bit.
See, Scab brought up a good point. Scab brought up a good point, because one good thing that Cold Steel has been doing within the last number of years is being able to come out with renditions of their most popular knives into a version that's more affordable. So, like, you have the 4 Max, you have the 5 Max. They're pretty expensive knives for the most part.
Yeah.
And then you have now you have this. Then they came out with the Scout. Scout is, I would say, almost just as good as everything that the 4 Max is. And it's tough, and it's a great knife, and it's a great value. Given it's not the steel was 10A, which is good on its own. But is Cold Steel? Do you feel like Cold Steel moving forward is going to be taking that approach of having that extra version of some of the most popular knives, to make them more, not all of them, obviously, to make them more on an affordable base with lesser steels and lesser materials and things like that? Because that's actually a pretty popular thing that Cold Steel is doing, that not a lot of companies do.
Yeah, I did not even know how much I was going to like the Voyager series until I started getting a few of them. They're good. I love the Voyager series. That's it's inexpensive, and it's a lot of knife for not a big price point. And I think that we're going to continue doing that kind of thing. I am pushing for the 5 Max Scout because I see it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'll be a great sell. Everyone's gonna, even if we just do a run of 1,000, those 1,000 will sell out quick. And then we'll be like, all right, guys, those sold out really quick. Let's do another run. Like we don't have to do, like this is a committed SKU that we're just going to run with. I think it's a great idea. And obviously unlike what Joe said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm not the CEO of Cold Steel, but I would love to, to make sure that we continue to do that, because it puts people that are like, oh man, the Mayhem's great. Because like over here, I've got the limited edition. I got this limited edition. This is the Mayhem with the red and black G10. I got number 17, pretty early number, and it's great, S35VN. And then they came out with the AUS 10 version, and I love this one just as much. Yeah, this one's cheaper. Yeah. So I think it's important to keep doing that. So I see Cold Steel continuing.
Good.
Well, and the thing is, the Aus 10 is a good steel. I have the XL Espada with the Aus 10 and chopped a 4x4 in half with it, probably faster than I've ever chopped one with a fixed blade. They're good knives. And the Aus 10 is good steel. I really, 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 really like that. In fact, my all-time favorite cold steel folder is the Raja 2. This is my all-time favorite. All time.
You know, I don't even have one yet.
Dude, I've got 2 or 3 of them. This one was my original. The clip's gone, the point's busted. It's been reprofiled. This is it's a pocket kukri with a triad lock. You can't beat it.
That's all it is.
Have you never had one of these?
I've never had one, and I'm hopefully getting one soon. I got a Roger 3. They sent me this massive box full of stuff, and then like
those boxes,
four other
they got to
boxes.
be in there somewhere. Come on.
No, I just got a Roger
Really?
3. I'm just
Wow.
getting a 4max Scout and 4max Elite sent to me over the next hopefully week. Just I don't have everything. Isn't that funny, huh?
That's great. But you got a lot. So let's keep talking, Colt. Is that a Dirk behind you to the left bottom?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. This is a Dirk.
Dude.
Wow, that's nice.
I
that's
got
a lot
one.
of oil.
I know that shocks you. I love that thing. That knife is underrated, guys. If you don't know, that knife is underrated. I ran over my damn sheath, so I have to make me a sheath. But I love that knife.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's pretty nice. I stabbed this through.
Well, you can get it.
Yeah, I stabbed it through chainmail, and I sliced up some tatami mat with it. It's short, but it's straight, and it's just long enough. It's like, there's a reason why. I mean, it's actually a historical blade.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a reason why it's shaped like this, and it's stood the test of time. I think it's a great knife myself. I haven't gotten to spend too much time with it because I just got it. You're gonna hear me say that about a lot of these knives. But I think one of my favorites is that Tachi katana up there. The one up top.
You gotta bring that a little closer. We got some katana people in the room.
Yeah, this thing. Let me see if I can turn my light.
Oh, that's wicked.
I don't know if it overheated. Hold on. There we go. So I don't know if you can see the.
Yeah, I see the Hamon. Yeah, it looks nice. So
that's
the
Damascus too.
Yeah, it's folded steel,
and it's got some really nice fixtures and stuff.
That's actually one of the better ones. I like the look of this one.
Oh my goodness, this thing is so light and fast.
Can I see the spine without cutting yourself?
Oh,
no, the spine. Turn it. Yeah, I want to see the spine. It's got the right amount of meat, not too much. It's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, maybe I could hold up an FM1 for the reference.
Yeah, I see. It's not too bad. It's not like too bulky. It looks like it should be pretty lively.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It is nice. I love this thing. It's awesome.
Yeah,
and I've had the opportunity of cutting a lot of tatami mat with it, so that was awesome. Sliced through 5 tatami mats so fast that they just stayed in place. I had to knock it over. I thought I missed.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what the heck? I walk over, go bloop.
So, now, you have the heavy duty cane sword, right?
Yep. Right. Yeah.
That thing's another one, man, that's underrated.
Yeah.
It's a sword.
Yeah.
People don't get that it's a damn sword. Let me get
double edge.
Yeah, it's double edged, but only to right about there.
Oh, okay, to the front. Okay.
Yeah, and this tube is freaking sturdy.
You could beat, you could basically beat people off with just the tube alone, man.
Yeah, I recently did a video on it. That's why I think Scab is talking like that. Oh,
that's right.
Did you engrave yours? Or is that just beaten to heck?
I took mine's beat the hell about. You can see mine's.
Oh, I see it. It looked like you put a design on it or something.
I was like, at first from far away, it's a Scab engravement.
I took it.
That's Scab engravement, yeah.
You could. I think I hit a coconut with it. But this
You ain't
thing,
more than a coconut,
this
bro.
thing is wicked. I'll tell you, I just got this, and it's going to be rough because I got it in the swamp. This might be one of my favorite machetes, Luke.
That's the machete cutlass.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I can
Just
see the
color.
guard now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one of those.
I have the 1917 Bowie somewhere. It's in the car. But I always wanted the cutlass that went with it, right?
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah.
never pulled the damn trigger on it. So when I saw this one, this thing's a damn sword. Talk a little bit about the machetes. I want to hear your thoughts on the machetes because they're near and dear to my heart. The Chinese war sword and this one are my two
Yes.
favorites. Talk to us about the machetes with Cold
In
Steel.
terms of then and now as well.
Okay.
Then and now. Because
So-
we talked about this already.
Okay, yeah. So South Africa was producing our machetes in 1055. Excuse me.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
5, yeah.
1055 high carbon steel, and over time, they just started to be, from what I understand, were not able to meet the demand. We were getting orders from certain companies for 50,000 at a time, and South Africa was not able to keep up. In fact, what they would do to keep up was send blades that weren't even beveled, no handles attached, no sheaths. They'd be like, there's your quantity. It's like, well, what are we going to do with this? This isn't a complete knife. And this is what I was told from what I understand. And so they had to find, like, look, we gotta have a complete product that we could send 50,000 of to this company and 50,000 of to this company. Like, it's massive amounts of machete sales. So then they went to, China from South Africa, and China was able to meet the demand, and they started using 65 MN or NM. I don't know which way it goes. It's here somewhere. And so then I think that there's a reviewer called Joe X, and he started smacking the snot out of him and snapping him and just screaming at the screen, "F you GSM, F you Cold Steel." I'm like, whoa, dude, let's work on this. But I wasn't a part of Cold Steel or GSM at the time. And so then they sent me the heat treatment reports for that one. And I'm just gonna say that I had some things to change on there, and send it back with my recommendations. And you can have a really good steel and a bad heat treatment. You can also have a bad steel with a good heat treatment.
Mm-hmm.
It's more heat treatment and edge geometry than people realize. People think it's the steel, but you get different companies heat treating stuff differently. You get different factories heat treating stuff differently. You can get MagnaCut from off-grid knives, and you can get MagnaCut from buck knives, and it's heat treated differently. But that's based on the company. It's based on the factory. And so when I look at these things, I'm like, well, we're talking about a machete, guys. Let's heat treat it like this, that, and the other thing. So if we're going to do 65 MN, because we can't use 1055, currently don't have the supply for it, and the only way to actually meet the demand. And the other thing too is people don't want to spend $60 on a machete. People are going to complain, understandably. They don't want to spend a lot of money on a machete. It's a machete. They want to spend $30. I want to spend maximum $40, whatever the price is. But with inflation and everything going up, the prices have been going up, but people still don't want to spend that money. There is that pressure to keep the costs low. So we're trying to balance everything out and meet the demands, meet the price points, and make a quality product. So now that they're like, hey, we have Luke, let's utilize him. So they email me the heat treatment certificates and the process, and I look at them, and they're all in Chinese. So I have to translate them with Google first. And then I go back and I'm like, okay, this might need to be a different temperature here, that, and the other thing. And it's pretty much my involvement with that. And I'm very glad to be a part of that, because, it's very important to me for people to, I don't want to say see my face and know they're getting a good product, but that's kind of what it is. I don't want to put my face on something that's not like a high quality product. That's why when in my company, I had a throwing hatchet, and we were throwing the thing, and we didn't have any issues with it. We thought it was great. It was super light. It stuck no matter how you threw it, except for if you hit the handle. And this one guy with millions of followers online, he started throwing it, and he was hitting the handle and he was breaking it. I mean, the guy was chucking it for the hills, and he posted it and said, you know, terrible hatchet, $600 an hour to throw this hatchet. But I did sell spare handles because I was like, look, if you break a handle, I don't want people to be out a whole hatchet. So I was like, spare handles is something I don't see enough of. I'm going to make sure I have them on my site. So then everyone's like, F you, this and that. And they started posting on Amazon, like, your calculated survivals hatchet is terrible. And they didn't even buy it. They just started bombing us with reviews and stuff like that, really pushed us down. So my response was, all right, let's fix it. You know, let's figure out what we can do. So I tried to make handle after handle after handle. I finally came up with a solution, and it took a lot of work, but I got there, and I made basically a near indestructible throwing hatchet handle. 2 pieces of aluminum with a 3D printed core. It's something I can make. I'm not going to China for it. I need to make these things now, and I need them out there as quickly as possible. So after making that handle, I sent it over to the YouTube guy, and he said he would get me a video on it, and I never got the video on it. I messaged him again, never got a video on it. Messaged him again. It's been months and months. And it's like, hey buddy, you know, if you could just like maybe say, like, I ran it over with my truck. I beat it over an anvil. I smashed it over my log splitter. It's not gonna break on you anymore. And I was hoping to like get a little bit of some.
Is this it, Luke? This is the one, right?
Reverse coverage on that, but yeah, that's the one. Yeah, sorry I don't have one here. I was running to grab one real quick. Yeah, do you have the near indestructible handle? You could. Is it there on the page?
What?
Yeah, it should be right there, all the way to your right.
This one.
Yeah, that's the one. So I hand make these out of aluminum, and I gave a couple options. You can have different colors and stuff. So I cut them up.
Pretty tough.
Yeah,
that looks pretty tough.
Sandblast and powder coat them, and I 3D print these cores in different colors.
Oh, nice.
And you can beat the tar out of these things. So I sent it over, and I'm like, hey, let's get this video up to like bring my name back. But it was like, no. So, but that's what I'm about. I'm about making stuff better. If something's messed up, you give people an option to have an indestructible, or you know, something people can depend on. So that's my reactions to stuff like that. So that's the same thing I'm going to bring into cold steel. Just want to make a better product. Something people can depend on.
Well, listen, that's what cold steel needs. That's exactly what cold steel needs to kind of. I mean, to be honest with you, what would you say about the products? Okay, so let's just talk about a little bit about. You've been dealing with cold steel for a little while. Is there any different? We spoke about this a little bit, and a lot of people have opinions about this. Is there a quality difference between pre-Lynn Thompson and post-Lynn Thompson in terms of cold steel? Now, we spoke about it. It's kind of obvious, but let everybody know basically what your opinion about that is in terms of the quality of a cold steel knife now and before. Because people have it in their heads. They're set straight. Yeah. You know, just I would love you to talk about it for a minute.
Yeah, and this is one of those things that kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. Like 1 month after the acquisition by GSM, people were like, oh, we can already see the quality going down. But like I said before, people don't realize it's 18-month turnaround for product. Yeah. So they were using Lynn's product and saying, oh, the quality's already gone down. It's placebo effect. Nothing had been produced by GSM at that point, and they were already saying that. So then once GSM acquired it, it's not like they changed factories. They use the same factories, same process, same design, same everything. There is no difference in a lot of regards. And like we've had to move the South Africa one for the machetes, so that was a change. There have not been too many of those changes, and I think the one biggest thing is something we're working on is the customer service. We are focusing. We're coming up with a plan for the customer service right now, and other than that, we are using the same factories, and we are also working on the issues of changing factories and making sure we're getting the same quality as when we were in South Africa for the 1055 machetes. So as far as that's concerned, I have had a lot pre-GSM. I purchased a lot of cold steel, and if I had an issue with it, I wasn't one of those guys that called customer service, was like, I want this fixed or this changed. Like I just, like I knocked off, this is a pre-GSM katana. I'm still waiting on my Warrior series to come from them. Pre-GSM katana. And for years, this Kashira had come off, and I just took the wrap and tied it around, put a square knot in it, called it good, left the ends hanging out, didn't care. This had fallen off, again, pre-GSM. What I did with it is I put it back together. I learned how to do the traditional wrap, and which came in handy because I just did the same thing for my daughter's wooden sword that I made her. And but I learned the traditional wrap and I put it back together. And I'm more proud of this thing than if it was just straight from the factory. I know how this thing went together. I know it's tight, and I know it's not coming back off. And this thing, I just glued it back in place. I mean, like, yeah. And this is pre-GSM. And people could see that and go, that's GSM's low quality, when that stuff was happening prior. It's stuff happens. You're going to break stuff if you abuse it. I was hitting trees with this thing. I was hitting stainless steel cookie sheets with this thing. I was not being nice to it, and it broke. It just did. And I had a bunch of pocket knives. Like I've snapped the tips off my Recons. I snapped the this was a here, hold on one second. I'm gonna put this back. This is a pre-GSM pocket Bushman, but as you'll notice, it's got a handmade blade. I made this one. This is 1095. I put a Scandi grind on it, and since I use it so much, I never actually put a coating on it. As you can tell, I don't use this part, but I use this part, so it wears off. I welded the pocket clip on. Again, pre-GSM. If I had an issue with it, I just made it work, you know? So
negativity gets traction, man. That's what it is. Negative shit. It's like you do with the tomahawk. You'll get more views with negativity than you will positive. It's a fact. Yeah. It happens. So people and people, we live in a whiny ass society, right? So people will comment negative that never use the stuff. Your handle, I mean, you know it as well as I do. You've been in the game. I saw the same stuff with cold steel. And my thing is this: what are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? I mean, because you're not buttering a piece of toast and the blade fall apart. That's not happening. You're doing something like normal people do, and you broke it. Just say, hey man, I broke it.
Yeah.
Dude,
hey, real quick, I see Adrian FYTR35 says the Talwars came with a rattling stop pin. I thought so too. And then I took the pocket clip off and I put it on the other side, or I put the screws on, and it actually stopped it. It's actually the screw plate is inside, and yeah, it does rattle. But that's not a stop pin or anything else. It's actually the
it's just one here.
The screw backer for the pocket clip. Yeah, sorry, dude. Sorry about that. I saw the same thing, but it's not the stop pin. It's actually just the how do you saw it? Embedded threaded portion underneath. It's for the pocket clip. So I know what you're talking about.
Let's talk about this.
Okay. Oh, this seller replacement Conceal X or scabbard for the SRK. For the SRK, I don't think they have one. They don't sell any aftermarket or additional sheaths. Just the one.
But let's talk about the sheaths.
All right. So, actually, you know what? I want you to go ahead and say what your issue with the sheaths is, then, Scab.
Okay, so I'm really excited because I brought it up to Luke. This is my SRK. So everybody knows these are nylon and glass or whatever. The issue is it pulls the shit out of the hand, the edge, right? And so I made a video pretty aggravated with it because I contrary to popular belief, all my cold steel I bought with the exception of a handful. So what I was hoping from Luke, and I think he's got the solution, is if we could fix it. And let me say this real quick, because I made the video and I got a lot of people, well, that's just a lot of money. Well, think of the money that you'll make when people go, hey, they're actually, fixing the product. This, by the way, Luke, is my all-time favorite cold steel. I've got 4 of these, the SRKs. There's just something about it. Now, this was gifted, but 2 things I wanted to mention. First, tackle the sheath. And then second, I hear this a lot. Is there any way to secure this a little better, the handle?
I'm sure there is a way. That is going to be a design process that I will have to work on. So you want to secure the handle a little better. It's got 1 pin in the back, and that's pretty much the only thing holding it right there is that pin. Now, what I'm wondering is if we can somehow dip that in like a, just a little bit of some silicone, and before we stick it in there, maybe a little contact cement, help out a little bit, maybe something that just fills it in. We will see what we can do with that. I will ask those questions, and I'm not making any promises, but I will try. Because I don't know if you saw, but I made a video where actually I broke the SRK in SK5 as calculated survival, and then I built it out of 52-100. And then Stick in 2023 at Blade Show Atlanta charged me $100 for a cold steel SRK in 3V, and I still have it. It's right here.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
funny.
like, he's like, I can't just give it to you, and I'm like, because he saw my video, but this is the one in 3V.
Yeah,
I do love this thing. You
I
what?
do too.
Do you have one in 3V?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So the 3V is a great steel. I love it. I beat it, and it bounced back nice. I love it. I got 2 in the Sandmai.
The one from Italy, CPM 3B.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I'm an SRK freak. I got one in VG1.
Okay.
And
That's
Luke, the
Sandmai?
thing is, it's not VG10. Let me find it. Here we go. I took the coating off of this one. Powder coating's my background. This one's VG1. It was made in Japan. This is the first one I ever got. I like, but the CPM 3V is my favorite. And what I was going to say about the handle, I really haven't experienced the loosening, but I get that comment. Oh, well, that one's rad. But this thing's 10 years old. This thing's 10.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but the sheath is the big thing for me. So we talked a little bit beforehand. Tell us your plan there.
With the sheath? Yeah. So before even coming on, before I even came on to GSM Outdoors or Cold Steel, I said there was 3 things: was the sheaths, the machetes, and the customer service. I think I've touched on the sheath. I think I've touched on the machetes, and I've touched on the customer service. Jeez, my tongue. But the sheaths. So I was told that yes, there is something we can do. So I said, all right, cool. So I've got 3 different designs I'm working on right now to fix the sheath. I don't know if I could tell you what they are, but just to keep, either a different material, not a glass-filled nylon, or some other type of tooling in the front to prevent the edge of the knife rubbing on a glass-filled nylon. But these are actually changes we are actively working on. But if we come up with a solution, it won't come out for another 18 months. That's the other thing.
Hey, it's just knowing it's coming. That's me.
Yeah.
And Joe, make a short of this little segment and tag Cold Steel in.
I'm in so much trouble, man. Somebody said
just the fact that you're willing to work on it. I mean, I'm not that guy. I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire. Just knowing because of the money that I've spent and that others spent. People love Cold Steel. I'm not going to waste time on the people that don't. You can't. You know what I'm saying? But like, dude, look right here, my Swiss halberd. I've got all this. I mean, I'm a Cold Steel fanatic. And I've heard all the stuff. So if you're making the improvements, I think that's what the true Cold Steel fanboys, and I am. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I am one. But I think that's what we care about. I think we care about the effort.
Of course. Is the 3V still available? Isaac was asking.
Isaac, where are you shopping for it? are you shopping on the Cold Steel's website, or are you? And Scab, you have something to say about purchasing stuff through Cold Steel's website.
Yeah, but if that's incorrect, let's go ahead and refute that now.
Not going to refuse.
Is that not incorrect?
I have no comment on that specific thing.
Okay,
I'm not going to comment on that.
Here's what I've said, and it's not negative. I'm not.
Right.
See, that's my thing, Luke. A lot of times I think I come off like a smartass. Like certain people have resting bitch face. Well, I can't have that. My eye goes this way, and but I'm not being smart. What I would like to do, like with Cold Steel, what I've seen is their MSRPs are higher because they're trying to push you to a vendor. That's honestly what I was told by a rep a few years ago. If that's not the case, and every time I say it, Luke, there's always, well, I bought this for this. Yeah, sure you did, bud. There's always the exception.
Okay.
But
you were told that by
I
a
don't mean
rep.
that negatively. I just thought they may want their, and if some of the guys from Cold Steel are watching, maybe they can address it. It's not a negative thing. It's a common business practice to raise your MSRP so that folks will go to your vendors.
No, that's a common practice for a lot of companies. I mean, we deal with a big company, Cat Siberia. We have Patrick on all the time, and he'll be the first one to say, listen, we don't deal with the, we offer the products, you can buy from us, but they have their list of vendors that sells their products, all their swords. So I mean,
well, the proof is in the price tag.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll just say that the proof's in the price tag.
I mean, that's my only thing. Yeah. And it's not negative. I try to be careful with that, because when I say don't buy from Cold Steel, that's not what I'm saying.
Right? You're saying buy.
And you have to be careful with Amazon because of the knockoffs.
When I recommend something from Cat Siberia, I give them Cultivatina. I tell them, you could find this on Cultivatina for this price, because obviously it's just, why would I steer them towards buying something a lot more than when they don't have to? But that's perfectly fine, because that's just the way these companies run.
Yeah, it's like when I was looking at the Voyager on our website, and I was seeing the price of the Voyager on the website. Then I went to another very popular website where people buy books and stuff like that, and it was quite a lot less expensive. I'm like, this is definitely a workman's knife. It's not very expensive, and we have to outprice that. We can't be the lowest price. We can't have a price lower than one of our vendors. So the proof is in the price tag. Yeah. And to what he was saying, he had actually just commented back and said that he was on the website. I thought it was still on the website. And we're still making it and selling it from what I understand. So if you're not finding it there, maybe check the old internet bookstore that turned.
Well, let's address that real quick. And guys, for you in the chat, with Luke coming on to Cold Steel, we want to be respectful of what he can say and what he can't. I appreciate you guys asking him questions. He's not trying to dodge anything, but there's certain things contractually. So bear that in mind. And when I ask you this, if it's something you don't want to talk about, just say no. But one thing that I've seen, like I'll say it, I don't care. Amazon, what I've seen with Amazon, like, I'll just but all the tomahawks. Like I went on there a couple years ago, and their prices, man, I'm talking $15, $20. Like I paid. This is my all-time favorite Cold Steel Hulk.
Yeah.
But I mean, the prices were so low, you start to wonder, hey, is this legit? So if people are going to buy Cold Steel, I want them to buy Cold Steel. I don't want them to buy, a knockoff. Is there any way, like, on there to tell, or how do you tell if it's a certified vendor? I guess would be
you
the
can
best
tell by
question.
you can tell. Actually, you know what, Joe? Can you go ahead and go to Amazon real quick?
Yeah.
If you go to Amazon, you go click on a Cold Steel product, and then you're going to see the vendor up in the top corner, and you'll see more from this store. You'll click on that, and you'll see more Cold Steel products. It will be the Cold Steel store. That's how you make sure you're getting a Cold Steel. It is actively on there. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good piece of info to have too.
Yeah.
Because I know Midway USA, they'll come out with some shit, and you're like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like
relatively inexpensive. Let's
prices are
just
like,
put it that
dude.
way.
Huh?
Relatively inexpensive,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so
No, they're buying from us.
Here's your sponsored. Okay, here's on the top sponsored. So I'll hit one of these. So this is supposed. So is it if they say visit the Cold Steel store?
Yes, click on that. Yeah, visit the Cold Steel store, and that's the vendor. Yeah.
So
you
I
can go
would
through
tell
there.
I would steer people to shop at the Cold Steel store on Amazon and find the products from here.
You're saying that.
No,
Disclaimer.
I mean, am I wrong? I mean, is this like isn't isn't this their basically their outlet in terms of selling the Cold Steel?
Yeah, no, they're the ones that posted to yeah, that's the Cold Steel store on Amazon.
Okay.
That is the Cold Steel store on Amazon.
Blades.
And today I was looking because I'm like, should I put my 1917 Dutch Cutlass up on the wall back here? And I went to Cold Steel's website. I'm like, I don't see it. So let me check somewhere else.
Yeah,
And then I
that's
went to
one I
Cold Steel's store.
want, dude.
Currently unavailable. I'm like, oh geez. Well, I'll send you mine.
No, man. That's one I wished I would have picked up, and I didn't. The thing too, and again, we'll try to keep it in the realm, but we were talking about some of Cold Steel's budget stuff.
Yeah.
And one steel that I think Cold Steel does a great job of, and it's people that make it for them. This is the little Razor Tech. Now, this was gifted to me. It's in Cold Steel's 4116 stainless. I have found with this stuff that you can get it hair shaven gnat's ass sharp. And a lot of people, that's cheap. It'll get sharp. You see this, Joe sees this. We live in this YouTube age where everything has got to chop a brick in half, and
Right.
I'm a part of that. You're a part of that. But
Yeah.
the truth is, something like this little knife here, it's got decent thickness. You can get it hair popping sharp. And if you're younger or if you're on a budget, something like that, you could camp with that all day long, skin, cape, dress, whatever you needed to do. And I think that's one thing I'd like to see, and I hope you encourage that more and more, is using some of the lesser steels with correct heat treat, because some of these things, I've got the Peacemaker 1, dude, that thing will cut you looking at it. It's the 4116. So I'm hoping you guys continue with that stuff too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we will. I know that the which one is it? It's Scandi Grind. It looks like I hate to say the company name, but the Morgniv. I should know the name of the. It's in here somewhere.
Isn't it the Finn Wolf or Red Wolf? No,
Finn
Red
Hawk.
Wolf's work tough.
The Finn Hawk.
That's it.
Yeah. This is in 4116 as well. And I did an edge to edge with the Morgniv. And let's just say the Morgniv. Well, I don't know if I could say that. I'm going to say it anyway. When I did it, it kind of mushroomed out a little bit, and it was just soft enough to it mushroomed. And then the Finn Hawk held up, but it didn't mushroom out. It didn't crumple like the Morgniv had done.
Yeah.
So like you're saying about 4116 is it's a harder, better edge retention steel than some of the stuff you're going to get. What do you got there?
There's two more. I love these.
Aus 8A, the Coben.
Yeah, this is
Peacemaker.
Aus 8A. This is the 4116. I hate Aus 8A. God. And that's thanks to Cold Steel. But this little Peacemaker, this thing is wicked, and it's that 4116.
Yeah.
This might be one of the sharper ones I've ever had, and it's been used, man. All my stuff's used. But this thing, it could get wicked.
Yeah.
Did they really only make 1,000 competition choppers?
Said, yeah. Did they?
Kev, what's going on, Bubba? That's who built knife guy.
Did they only make 1,000? I don't know. I do not know.
That's the dude that chops all the nails in half. Kev.
Yeah, Peter built knife guy. Yeah, I saw he did a video on Cold Steel's 3V the other day, and I was like, "Well, that's a skinny little knife to try to chop a nail with." But hey, in all fairness, it is what it is. Um, I was going to chop a tree down today with an Espada and go, listen, man, edge geometry is a little bit more important than heat treatment. And I was gonna reprofile my Espada and chop a tree down with it, even though I was the one who chopped the tree down without reprofiling it.
My man is fair. If he's nothing else, he's fair.
I know.
I love it because it gets people just bent. It got the buckaroos all bent out of shape. Oh my God, just go insane. So, you know, the joys of YouTube, and Kev's actually one of the better dudes on here, man. Let me ask you this. At one, before I forget, I have a favor of you.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Full Tang Clan? Brandon from Full Tang Clan.
Is he the one that he's a knife thrower?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Him
I
and
need you
follow
to
each
like.
other.
I need you to like one of his posts with the Cold Steel. He's posting every day until Cold Steel likes one of his posts. And like today,
snap.
he had all his machetes and swords and all that out. I just sent him a knife to throw. He's an awesome dude, man.
All right, hold on. I got my notepad right here.
Yeah.
All right.
His name's Brandon with Full Tang Clan. Awesome
right,
dude.
Now, are these comments going to stay on the video? Is this video getting posted?
It will. It's only it'll take about a day for the comments to go into the video. It takes usually about a day to come in.
All right. So Full Tang Clan. Yeah, no. I watch his stuff from my channel. Well,
Yeah.
what was my channel?
That dude's
Calculated
a pro.
Survival.
Number 2, fixed sheet.
Yeah.
I
That's something I am working on.
I
Full Tang.
literally just sent him one to play around with. The one that me and you got, Joe.
All
Yeah.
right. So I just wrote Full Tang Clan. Give him some love.
Yeah, absolutely. That would make his day. And he's a good dude, man. Guy can throw. He's sick. That dude's sick for that stuff.
He's literally dedicated his life to that, man. He's as good as it's going to get in terms of his trade. He cultivated himself.
Well, now he does. They do Danger Fest.
Danger Fest,
which
every
Joe,
year.
me and you need to go to that one year.
Danger Fest, yeah.
We need to go.
Yeah, I heard about that one. Competition, 1,000 competition.
Oh, them guys have a ball, son.
Yeah.
They got swords and they're doing all kind of stuff. They have an absolute ball. So look real quick.
Yep.
Real quick. I know you're excited. This is what I'm saying. We could go and go and go and go and go.
We'll do a couple more of these, man. I got no problem with that.
Well, there's a plan in play, but anyway, go ahead, Scab. There's a plan in play.
So somebody reached out to me. This is the Recon Scout in is it 01?
Wow.
No, 01 high carbon.
Okay.
This might be the first cold steel fixed blade that I got. Right? You can see the tip seen better day. Now they make one of these in 3V. Have you got to play with that yet?
I love this thing. It is pretty
Do you
awesome,
really?
man. I do love it. It is a slick little knife. It's beautiful. I've actually shot the edge of it, which, I mean, if anybody's actually shot edges of knives, you know, a lot can take lead. But it still was impressive to not see any edge damage on this thing. I do like it in 3. I love the 3V done by Cold Steel, because there's a couple of steels that you know a company can do and do right. Like Aus 10A, you were just saying that Cold Steel does really well.
They do.
Well, no, that was more me. That was.
Oh, okay.
But, well, the 3V, Kev let me check out that competition chopper that he bought was in 3V, and that was wicked, dude.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Oh, you know what's funny? When they sent me the Mayhem number 17 of the Mayhem, they also sent me number 17 of his competition chopper. So I got a matching set.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
I'm trying to get the
awesome.
matching.
That competition chopper was wicked.
Yeah, where did I put the darn thing?
That thing is wicked sharp. But I've got the Trailmaster and the Recon Scout both in 01. Joe, have you messed with the Trailmaster?
No, I haven't.
I got it.
I may send you this one.
There's a lot of cold steels I need to try.
That thing's badass, man.
Yeah,
Kev let me borrow his.
And that's brand
That might
spanking
have
new.
been the sharpest
That's brand
thing I've
spanking
had
new.
on the channel.
Signature series too. Nice.
Number 17.
Nice.
That's cool, man.
Just like my Mayhem.
That is.
I got
dope.
I got the Lynn Thompson I got the Lynn Thompson Signature Series. Where is it? The Coben and
Yeah.
this one, both number 6.
Now the tie
Tie
light,
light.
my
Yeah, cool.
Lynn Thompson tie lights in the car. I love that knife, dude. I never realized, we didn't realize until we had Lynn on, like
Yeah.
every single knife is made with self-defense or self-offense in mind. That was kind of, so when you mentioned like up front, you know, your love of self-defense and it falls right in line with where you're at. I'll tell you the truth. This knife right here is, and I always say it. People get tired of hearing me say it, but I'll say they're a favorite. There's no way in hell I could nail down like my top 3 knives, but the Frenzy is just sick, man. Do you have one of these? Do you
No,
like
I only
it?
have the 3.5-inch versions, and I
Bro,
beat the
this
tar
is
out of
just
them.
sick.
Yeah, I got a video of me beating the absolute tar out of the 3V, 3.5-inch ones. I got. Let me see if they're right here. It should be right, stinking here. Here we go. Found them. There. Get back
Yeah,
in your
see, that's
spot.
what I'm gonna get. I'm a
So I
Frenzy
got-
freak, man.
Yeah, I got the black one and I got the red and black. Yeah.
Yeah,
These are
see,
the little guys.
I'm a Frenzy freak, dude. There's
see.
something about the shape, right? Yeah, that's wicked.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
just
little
wicked.
guy.
That is nice. I like that size.
The tip retention test we did on this was actually pretty good. We stabbed it in a stump and we're like bending it over. But see, like here's the difference. And I'm hopefully not going to get in trouble for saying this. But the bigger the knife you have, right, the stronger your triad lock's going to be because there's more material there. So this one we put up to like 200 pounds and it bounced back, no problem. If it has to go above 200, that's a lot. I mean, you know, but everybody wants to see it break at the same weight that this one does, and it's not going to happen. This one went up to around 1,400 pounds, but it's because it's not only thicker, but there's just a lot more material there, and the lock actually travels a lot more than on the Frenzy. You know,
Yeah.
but that's
That
where
makes
understanding
a lot
the
of sense.
application.
Makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. Yeah.
You got to understand your application. You know, if you want a stronger knife, you get a bigger knife, or you
Right.
know, something designed for it. But you know, triad lock is also based on size.
You also have to be careful though, because people want to see shit break that's not theirs. There's all kind, and you know this, and the guys watching know this. There's all kind of parts of knife too. You know, there's the real use, there's the hard use. At the end of the day, you got the guys, and I love Joe X. I'm part of his Patreon. I wear his shirt. I support. I love Joe.
Yeah.
But Joe's going to break the knife. Where I get aggravated, it's not with Joe, it's with the people that watch Joe.
Yeah.
You know, what they're not getting is, and what they don't, you know, if Joe has a 10-minute video, that's probably 2 or 3 hours of hard use. I'll take that knife any day. So when it comes to the cold steel stuff, I'm like you. I grew up on the Lynn Thompson videos, cutting the pigs in half and all that. I love that.
Yeah.
But when we're being realistic, you know, little junior son of a bitch isn't going to need to do all that. He's going to cut some zip ties and open some mail, and that's it.
Yeah.
But we have this thing where it's like, oh my God, it's got to be survival or bomb proof. No, it don't.
Yeah, I do. Well, the reason why I pretty much went down that route was because of watching the videos from Lynn all those years ago of how strong his knives were.
Mm.
And then also because I had broken knives out in the field and I was relying on that knife. And I'm like, this sucks. I don't want to ever be in a position where I cannot depend on my blade again. And so then I became a total cold steel fanboy, didn't have one break on me. Then I started making my channel, you know, and I started breaking stuff, and I was like, see, this is why you don't want this one, and then this one, and you know, but yeah, so a lot of people don't understand like what I'm trying to show in some of my old videos, and it's hard to watch Joe because I appreciate his views on a lot of things, and I appreciate what he does. I appreciate the tests. It tells us, hey, we have more work to do on some things, but it's just I don't know. When he starts going, F GSM, F Cold Steel, I'm like, all right, dude, that's where I shut the video off, because I'm like, let's work on this. And I understand that we can't get to everybody. There's been a lot of people that say a lot of things, you know, and I'd rather work with somebody than, you know, than anything. And like,
Well,
I've had a lot of people.
Joe will work with you. Joe's one of those guys you want to work with. There's a lot of guys who have reached out to me behind the scenes. I know Joe, right?
Yeah.
Some of that is showmanship, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of that's getting a response, but I can tell you, if you were to reach out to Joe with something, he'd be on board. He'd be on board.
Yeah. I only want to work with him in the way that, like, okay, how do we make the product better?
Right.
He sees
Right.
this didn't feel right. Like, I had a bunch of guys send me knives onto my channel, Calculated Survival, and I would break it, but it was a one-man shop. You know, I'm not going to post that to my channel with all the viewers that I had, you know, because people clam onto that. And it's like, I get my best views when I crap on something. And but then I'm like, I'm not going to do this to this one-man shop. I'm going to call him and say, hey, so this is what I experienced. I've had some smaller. Oh, Tom Brown's here. The one I'm waiting for is the Espada large, not the extra large with red G10. Okay. So, but we have the Espada large. Are you looking for the Espada large in just regular G10 with regular Oust 10A? Sorry, I went off key.
No, by all means.
Okay.
No, your thing, man.
That's
I recognize him from
please.
Cold Steel. From the Cold Steel. No, sorry, not Cold Steel. Blade Show. I was at Blade Show, and he walked up to me, and he'd be commenting on my videos all the time. I think this is the same guy, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I was just curious if you were looking for the S35 VN one, like this, because we sell that. Yeah. Yeah. So Todd Carr just said, "Be nice.
In the works,
nice to
Todd.
see a simple fix." Yep, we're working on it.
Todd's a good
It's
dude,
not.
man.
I don't think it's. Yeah, Todd is awesome, man. It's not so much a material. I mean, they could use glass filled, freaking injected, whatever the freak they want to use. It's just making it a little bit bigger, just so it doesn't hit. It just it's a matter of the blade sliding up against it back and forth. That's dulling it against that material. If you kind of just micrometer, just make it a little bigger, so it's not, you have that play there, so the edge is not constantly going against that sheet, then you'll be fine.
Yeah, against glass filled nylon. So
just
we'll
so you know, as soon as this sumbitch is over, I'm making a short thanking Luke at Cold Steel for fixing the sheath problem in 18 months. So go ahead and get ready for that.
Yeah, because the turnaround on product is 18
Countdown,
months.
18 months, new sheet.
Well,
If
we
you
have to
came
nail
out
that.
and said we got it fixed, I'll wait till hell freezes over.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, there'll be a short coming.
The design process is going to be is what we're working on right now, getting the right design, and then after we pick a design, it's going to be 18 months before the turnaround. But yes, we are working on that. That was something I had said before even coming on. I was like, look, we're gonna fix these sheaths, and he's like, yeah, we can do that. I'm like, okay, cool, good, then I can sign this. I can sign this paper.
But listen, in the big scheme of things, really, that is the important factor. It's the important factor is realizing there's a problem, saying that, you know, and addressing it. That's really what it's all about. That's it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said about Joe X, I appreciate getting you know, told, hey, this is an issue. We're like, okay, we'll work on it. Just like that one YouTuber did to me with my throwing at it. I was like, okay, I'll work on it. And then he sent back a mad respect, and all his viewers were like, yeah, this is the collab we wanted to see, blah, blah, blah. So there was positivity to it. And you got to ignore all the negativity, because there's always going to be negativity. And like, even just starting, like going from Calculated Survival to Cold Steel, there's so much negativity on the channel. It's like, you know, people calling you gay, to people telling you, you know, your bracelets are, you know, the weirdest thing ever. And it's like, well, these were made by my daughter last year. Okay. I mean, what bracelet were you talking about? The Wounded Warrior Project one on Scab, or the ones made by my daughter, bud? Like, what was your problem? Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, it's you're gonna, bro, you're gonna pick up. I'll tell you this, and just so everybody knows, you and I messaged a little bit, never really talked.
Yeah.
But when you come out with Cold Steel, I was super stoked, man. Everything
Thanks,
with
man.
me, and I'm
Appreciate that.
saying this honest to God, no matter how I act, no matter what I say, everything to me is blessed. And when you come out, I thought, man, this is kick ass. I was so excited. It's not about getting anything. It's about people don't know. And when I say work, no, it's not hard work. It's time consuming. People don't realize the amount of hate we take, you know?
Yeah.
And so when you win, Tom said, yep, it's him. When you do something like you did, it's not like, oh, this guy's lucky. You've put in the time, you put in the effort, you've paid your dues, and now here you are.
Yeah. I got a lot more hate at the very beginning of my channel. I got a lot more hate at the beginning of my channel, and then after a time I got established. Like, people told me, stop it, you don't know what you're doing, or you're terrible, this and that. And it was like, I'm just going to keep going. And then eventually they stopped. They died off. And that's exactly what's going to happen with Cold Steel. I have perfect faith that that's going to happen. And I don't listen to the negativity.
No.
Well,
It's not.
No, it's never going to stop.
Bro, listen. No, you're in it for the long haul with Cold Steel. But who cares? I'll tell you why I love them, and then I'll pass it to Joe. Cold Steel people either love or they hate. Period.
Yeah.
There's no, they're all right. Never. They love or they hate. And that's the way that people are with me. And that's the way I like it. I don't want, Scab's all right. You'll never hear that.
Yeah, I just don't understand why there's so much attitude with knives. It's like, well, there's so much attitude. It's like, guys, calm down.
It's a mannerism of people. It's not even just knives. It's just a certain mannerism of people. It's just internet. What it is, This is not Tom Brown, Isaac. This is something I wanted to get into because I want you to talk about also calculatesurvival.com. And that's actually what Isaac was asking about, you going to make knives on your website or just doing full Cold Steel. So maybe we can bridge this over to like calculatesurvival.com with the knives that you're making on that site. Yeah,
that was hard. It would take me forever to make a batch of like 30 of them because I had to do all the shipping. I did a lot of the website, not all of it, a little bit. I did any manufacturing and packing. I did, it was a lot of work, and I still posted all the videos. And then I was trying to make the knives and everything on top of it. And now that I'm full Cold Steel, if anything goes forward with that, it's probably going to be more my designs go to Cold Steel. And we start making my designs through Cold Steel. I wish I could show. I don't have any pictures, and I sold every single one that I ever made because everyone's like, "Oh, you've got one? Oh, I want it." Do I even have like a? 1 second. Let me see if I got. Nope, that bag was not one of my knives. I had one customer want a different handle, and I don't have it. But I've made some knives for the captain of the Fort Worth Police Department. I made a knife for Donnie Dust. I've made knives for Guy Fieri, but that's all got to stop, because I now work for Cold Steel, and my designs are going to be, that's what I'm going to have to work on, my designs through Cold Steel, because I work for them now, and I would love to make knives. I love the whole idea behind it, and if one day Cold Steel decides to do like an American-made stuff, I'd love to be a part of that. I have some guys in Florida that can help, where it would be like, I design it, maybe I do the handles if I have time. I have a bunch of good guys down there that are like, hey, we can grind. This guy's good at heat treating. This guy can make sheaths. And we do like a 1,000 or a couple hundred run of American-made knives for Cold Steel. I would love to do that because these guys, they need work. And at the same time, people want American-made knives. It's a win-win. So I'm like,
mark this day, April 1st. 2025, because I think that sounds like a master plan there. That sounds great.
The Republic, isn't it? The Republic that's American made. That's a great knife.
Yeah. Great. That's the Republic, and I don't think I did it a perfect justice, and I think that it could have been thicker. It would have survived my test if it was thicker. It actually would have survived my test if it was MagnaCut, because MagnaCut is tougher. It has the same edge retention as S35VN, but what the heck is that? Anyway, so this is the Republic. It's a good knife. People always called it like an SE5 copy. But it's here's the thing. It's a great shape. It's a great design. It's built for, basic bushcraft and stuff. And I smashed it sideways. The first time I hit it, it actually took it like a champ. And then I went to straighten it and I snapped it in half. But that was, and I don't think I did it justice on my channel when I did that. The steel wasn't designed for that, and it really made it look bad. But the integrity of cold steel at that point is what stuck out to me, because they were like, look, we're not going to tell you not to post a video. If you want to post a video, go ahead. That's your prerogative. We're not going to try to bribe you or do this. The only thing they did was send me another one just in case it was a defective blade. That was it.
Right.
But no, they had integrity, and they said, do what you got to do. And they even sent me another one. They didn't stop working with me. And I posted a video showing that, hey, the first one I hit didn't actually break until I flipped it around and beat it again to try to straighten it out. But yeah, it is a great knife. I do like it. Is it my favorite knife? No, I've got my own design for my favorite knife. If it was my favorite knife, I wouldn't design knives, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
anyway, I'm never
It's
happy.
a good knife. It did well. It did what
Yeah.
it needed to do. And what I always say, Luke, is this: if I break a knife, that's a problem. If a knife breaks on my channel, it's a problem. I do hard, and I've backed off. The more I do it, the more I find myself trying to dial in my skill set. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain brand, and they sent me some today that I'll go insanely hard on, because that's kind of what I do with them. But with things like the Republic and the cutting knives, you just kind of, I find myself trying to improve my skill set and showing the knife in that manner, if that makes sense.
Right.
I think
it does make sense. Yeah.
Here's one that from Cold Steel. This was a gift, and I love this damn thing. I love this thing.
There's always something to be said about a big Bowie knife.
I went ahead and super glued the guard. I don't care. I love this damn knife. I just like the history behind it, and the whole, it's old school sword fighting type shit. I love it. And
there's something to be said for big. There's something to be said for big buoys. And the leather sheath, that's awesome too. But I love Bowie knives. They're awesome. I actually like kukris better. This is the Laredo Bowie.
Oh, I'm
with you on the kukris. I love the kukri.
Kukris are the chop.
The Laredo and the Natchez, those are on my grill list.
Yeah. Well, we might have to see if we can hook you up with some of them.
That's a good knife.
Yeah.
I love the kukri. Ever since I was getting into survival, the videos and the what was it? The Ultimate Wilderness Survival Guide by Hugh McManners. That's the one I grew up on as a kid. And I read that book cover to cover. The dude used a kukri and everything. So I was like, that's the knife. And I looked into it. It's like really good for chopping. So then I got
Blackie
one.
Thomas,
Like,
that's all he
great.
uses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blackie Thomas, that's all he uses is the kukri. Well, I mean, he's got other knives, but he's a huge proponent of the kukri. I've got a bunch of them. I'm a big fan of them. They work.
Yeah. I was building a shelter with a hatchet, and I had a kukri machete. And I was like, it's so much easier to use a kukri machete than it is a hatchet.
Right.
And it's funny. I'd rather a big knife than a hatchet in a lot of regards. In fact, it can be safer too. Like when I'm out in the woods and I want to split wood and I'm cutting the wood down with my Bowie knife, I can cut it up. I can cut it off whatever I'm doing. I stand it up and I can baton it through, and I'm precise. People take these hatchets and they go like this, and they swing it and get their hand out of the way just in time, and then what's this guy? Luke, are they gonna bring back the Gurkha kukri without the stupid guard thing? I have no idea, to be honest with you. And didn't you say something about a 5XL shirt before? I don't know if we have any of those, bro. I'll see what I can do. Let me write that down on my notepad. Hey, go up. Did he say? Let me see if I can go up. Actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. Oh, it's right here. It's right
5X?
here.
Oh, 5XL. I will ask. I will write that down. And I don't think this. You said stupid guard thing. You're talking about You're talking about this guy right here. That? Yeah, that was a Lynn Thompson idea, I think.
I don't
and
think
it-
that's. I don't see
like-
that how that would be a big problem. That
I mean,
guard.
I got a bandsaw.
You could shave it down a little bit and just buff it
Yeah.
down, and it's not a big thing. But
Yeah, no, I don't think we are. I don't think that was in the cards. I think that was Lynn's design actually for because he did all the parrying. That was his big thing. He wants to, you know, I've done a little bit of sword stuff in the past, and I always had a problem getting hit in the hand. So I love guards personally.
yeah, I don't have any problem with guards, especially the fact that I am dealing with a lot of sword stuff. So having that guard is a good thing. Not getting your you don't want your palm to go into that sharp end there at all.
Yeah, 5XL shirts. All right.
I had
Let's
to
see, we
plug
got
up
the-
and charge in.
Any other big questions you guys had that I can write down on my notepad? Actually, what big things that we had? Definitely sheath design. Got to make sure we keep the
question of the hour right there.
keep the gas on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there will be a short being made.
There will be. Yeah, I get more pressure from you than I do from my corporate overlords.
The countdown has started there, Lee.
And I'm kidding. I say corporate overlords as a joke, but they're actually really easy to work with. They're very nice people over at GSM.
That's all.
They really are.
Right.
So
Well, Joe,
Yeah. So, Luke.
Yeah.
I honestly think that and I'm sure I speak for Scab. We can I would love to make this an ongoing show as you get new products coming in, as new designs coming in. And we can just basically, come in, do a show, prop up new designs, new products that are coming. I think this could be definitely an ongoing show that we could do together.
Yes.
Especially now that we have the acquaintance and stuff. I think it's going to be a great thing that we can keep on following up with Cold Steel.
yeah, absolutely. I am. I would love that actually. I
Right.
think it's great. I love talking about this stuff, and it's good to hear back from people.
Yes.
I like to get feedback, and
Give
I'm
people
seeing
the
a lot of
opportunity,
feedback
right. Yeah.
here in the comment section.
And this will be, like I said, this will be up in about a day. Like it'll post obviously kind of, like by tonight, but it'll take somewhere around like close to a day when the chat is going to go into the load up like with the video and stuff. So but then everything that's here is going to be basically going in.
Okay. Yeah, really quickly, we've got some people here. Thanks, Luke. I had a kukri with the guard, but the addiction took it away from me. Addiction? Desperado would be awesome. I'm just going to write Desperado because a lot of people have been asking.
A lot of people, asking about that.
Desperado.
Really, the
next
leather
one
neck?
was-
My leather neck, I beat the crap out of the leather neck. It never got loose.
Any idea how to fix it?
Hmm.
Hold on. Let me see a leather
I
neck.
don't know.
real
Mine's
quick.
pretty freaking solid. I can't even see how that thing gets loose.
Leather neck.
I got my leather neck somewhere.
Leather neck. Yeah, I got one here. Let's see. Oh, dang it. Yeah, I haven't even taken it out of
You
the
gotta bring
box yet.
Casino. It's brand spanking new, man.
I had another one kicking around here somewhere. I,
I loved mine when it was new. I didn't even want to use it. It's a nice shiny coat. I love that plastic.
All
That
right,
sound
so-
of that plastic when you open it.
My guard. And this is probably okay. So the rubber probably got a little looser then. Maybe it shrunk, possibly.
Scab's having tech problems, so he's trying to come back in.
Okay.
Okay, got you, Scab. All right.
Maybe. All right. Here, I have an idea. If you can, I don't know if you can see this, but if
You
I
see it?
pull this back, you see the seam there? Right? I can pull that back. It's possibly.
Yes, I see it. I see it. You
Okay,
can see it.
because that's the
Yeah.
rubber, right?
Yeah.
So I would suggest trying it first. If you can get one of those, try to pull that down. If you need to use a clamp, use a clamp. I clamp sideways and pull. It makes it easier. Obviously, try to wrap the blade in something first so that you don't stab or cut yourself,
Of
or
course.
or even just place the sheath over the top just far enough away. And then you can either fill that space with, I mean, I personally my own jerry rigging of stuff, I'd probably try to wrap it with a little bit of cord and then crazy glue the cord in place. That might add a spacer. Or you could fill it with like a, let's see, what would be a good, there's a 5-minute epoxy sold at Home Depot.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That'll work.
Yeah. I've never had that issue, so I apologize for not having the solution. I am spitballing here because I've never done that one before.
I beat the crap out of mine, man. I've been using that a lot, and I'm actually surprised that it's a little loose. But let's see if we can get to a couple more questions really quick here.
I don't have sneak peeks for Blade Show. Actually, Keith has those right now, and he's going to send me the box when he's done with it. So I apologize for that. Marshall Designs that made the company what it is today. Yes, we are keeping a lot of the Marshall Designs. And I think we want to keep it that way because that's where we make the money, because that's why you guys love us. So
this is a question for you.
What steel does Luke like for the zombie apocalypse?
That's like the question of every Blade Talk.
That's funny. Well,
3V.
Me I like 3V, but I make I make my own 52-100. Here is
I like the 52-100 personally really a lot. Yeah.
My favorite steel is AEBL.
AEBL.
AEBL. It's a stainless. Essentially, it's a 52-100, but stainless.
I gotta write that one down.
AEBL is my favorite. I personally do a lot of 52-100. It's great. I powder coat it. You know,
I've gotten a lot of 52-100s from the Kukri house.
Oh yeah,
in Nepal, the Nepalese made kukris, they use a lot of 52-100s there, and I've always had some good success with that.
Yeah. What would your go-to be out of the Frenzy or Black Talon for self-defense? I would go with the 5.5-inch Frenzy, just because I'm not. I don't do the curved blade thing as much. Traditional style of kukri. That would be interesting. I would like to see a traditionally styled kukri. And leather, I'd like to see it with the traditional two sister blades and everything else that goes with there.
That'd be pretty cool.
Thanks. I'll have to get some epoxy. Yeah, try pulling it down, fill it in. Okay. I think that was a lot of the questions.
So in closing, what it now basically being, we spoke about everything. What's the best thing that you would say people should look forward to, being that you're at the helm right now, or what you're gonna fight for or work with, to look forward to in terms of the future of Cold Steel?
Well, that's going to be future designs, better product quality control, because I'm a part of it. I mean, if I didn't need to be there, right, I wouldn't be there, right? But I'm hoping to improve quality control, or ensure quality control, shall I say? And also, I want to listen to the audience a lot more, and I want customer service to get better. That's what we're shooting for, and that was part of what I suggested before I even signed anything. So customer service, a couple things have to be fixed quality wise, in my opinion, and we are actively working on them. So you will see things getting better from here on.
Excellent.
And not saying Cold Steel was in any way, shape, or form. I think that a lot of that stigma was placebo, like I said, with the whole 1 month after the acquisition, with an 18-month lead time before any product came out. They were still saying like, "Oh, it's terrible now." It's like that's the same old product.
Just having a representative come in and explain certain things is always a good thing. Like you explained the whole situation with the machetes.
Yeah, that was a situation.
The supply issue, weren't able to keep up. You had to scurry around, get somebody to fill the orders. Listen, it happens. It's business. I mean, that's just what it is. But it's always good to have a rep come in and be able to explain the situation so people know what's going on. So that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
It's that question. Yeah. So listen, we're going to keep this going on and on. We've had you on for a long time, but guys, listen, we're going to have Luke on again. I think this will be an ongoing thing, God willing, and he'll be able to come in and answer your questions. But if you guys if we didn't get to your questions, guys, and you're still in the chat room, put it into the comment section. Any questions you may have of Luke, I'm sure Luke will be able to go into the comment section, maybe just go through a couple things, and maybe we'll be able to answer your question and move on from there. So other than that, Luke, thank you, man. And guys, also Scab had some technical difficulties with his phone that died. He was trying to come on with his wife's phone, but it didn't work out. So he sends all his love to everyone in the chat. And he thanks everyone for being here, joining us on Blade Talk, and he'll see you on the next short he's putting out about Cold Steel.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not trying to get back on. He's making a short right now.
He's making a short. He got out because he wanted to get a jump start to post that short about the 18-month wait to get that sheet fixed up and then get, you know what I'm saying, get that improvement in there. So he's in short right now.
Trouble. No, I'm just
By the
kidding.
time we press end, the short will be posted. I guarantee.
Thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Oh, Luke, it was a pleasure, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to end the live, but stay in the room. Don't come out. So,
Sounds
guys, everyone in Blade, thanks for joining us at Blade Talk. Luke, thank you for being with us. Scab sends his love. And we'll see you on the next show, guys. Have a good night. And post your comments if you have anything else you need to say or get across.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good one, guys. Peace out.